y'all, welcome back to Super Geeked. If you're new here, I'm Victoria. I'm a full-time reseller, and once a month I like to share with you the previous month's sales on all the platforms that I sell on. So I sell on Poshmark, eBay, Etsy, and Mercari, and these sales are going to be for the month of January 2022. Now normally what I'm sharing with you are any sales that were over $40 because I am trying to get an average sale price of at least $40 and above. But I thought this month I would switch it up a little bit and share with you the good and the bad, the items that I would pick up again, and the items I probably would pass on. So if you're interested to see what I'm selling online, then stick around and we'll get into those sales. All right, y'all, here we go. Let's get into these sales. So just to be completely honest, my other platforms, Etsy, Mercari, and eBay, were nothing to write home about. I consistently cross-list every item that is newly listed to all 4 platforms, but I had one Mercari sale in the month of January. I had a few Etsy, which is normal, and then my eBay sales have been down also. So most of these sales you're going to see are from Poshmark, but I do want to share some highlights, including the one Mercari sale. So let's get into it. The first sale that I'm going to share with you is an Etsy sale. This is a 1990s Legacy Coach bag. If you find anything from the Legacy Coach collection, they are really hot right now. This actually sold on Etsy for $107.50. I charge a flat shipping rate, and then I deduct the shipping once I do it. Sometimes I'm over, sometimes I'm under, but either way, it seems to work for me. So my cost of goods on this Legacy bag was $25. They did have it priced up because the thrift store I got it from in Orange Beach, Alabama, obviously knew it was vintage Coach. I did find the fob inside an inner pocket, so if you find one of these and the Coach fob is not on the outside, then definitely search the pockets because it may be hidden. And I was able to find a chain from somewhere else in my house and add the fob back on. The fobs were not usually used on the bags as a fashion statement. They actually were just label tags that were often removed. So some of these older bags, you may not have the fob anymore, and that's okay. A lot of buyers understand that these were not normally on the bags. They were something that was discarded after you purchased it. So don't be distraught if you can't find a fob, but luckily I found this one. So it sold for $107.50. My cost of goods were $25. My fees on Etsy, listing fees and my seller fees were $9.02. The shipping was $12.66 because the bag was a little heavy with the metal hardware, and I made $60.47. So definitely these Coach Legacy bags are something to be looking for. Next on Etsy, I sold this precious 1980s koala bear knit sweater. It was so cute. I love these novelty sweaters. Anytime I find them, I pick them up. They usually sell over the $50 mark, so there is a certain collector that likes to pick these up. A lot of people from Japan will buy these sweaters, so there's definitely a market for that if you do international shipping on eBay or Etsy. This one sold for $76.88. My cost of goods from the thrift store was $4.63. Listing and seller fees on this was $7.57, and the shipping was $9.18. So I made $55.50 on this thrift store pickup. This next item I was super excited to find, and when I saw comps, I was even more excited. I knew exactly what this was because I'm of a little older age demographic, but this is a Todd Oldham vest. It's from the 90s. Todd Oldham had a segment on an MTV show back in the 90s called House of Style. You may have heard of Todd Oldham because now he has a line in Target called Kid Made Modern, where you can get sort of like crafting kits for kids that are really cool. I've actually bought some for myself, but Todd Oldham is just a really cool, iconic designer, and when I saw this, I was so excited. So this is a vintage 90s patchwork vest. It had different brass buttons on the vest. You can see some of them here. And it had all kinds of different patterns, and the interior had a different kind of lining. Here's another picture of all the different kinds of fabrics that were on this vest. Super, super cool. So you can imagine when I saw this, I was like, holy moly. And I got it at a thrift store in New Orleans when I was thrifting with my girl Alicia from Murray Life. The buyer bought this for $136.87. My cost of goods was $5.52 from the thrift store. The fees were $11.40 from Etsy, and the shipping on this was only $3.87. So I made $116.08 on this Todd Oldham vest. But super cool find. So glad I was able to save it at the thrift store, and now someone's going to enjoy it. And now on to my one and only Mercari sale for January. But I do want to share it with you because it was an over $40 sale, and normally I'm sharing with you all of my items that sold for over $40. So this was a pair of figs scrubs. They were the jogger style, which seems to be super popular, and they're actually still available on the figs website. These were a tall length, so they had that going for it too, and they sold for $40. My cost of goods was $8.04 from this thrifting trip. I got these in New Orleans also, and I've never picked up figs before, so I was excited to try them. Fees were $5.46 from Mercari, and shipping was $5.96, so I made $20.54 on these scrubs. All right, moving on to eBay. There's only one sale from eBay that I want to share with you for January, and that's because it sold over $40. You guys know I'm looking for that higher average sale price. That's what my business model is. So these were some Free People jeans. I've talked about how I continue to pick up Free People because consistently I'm selling Free People for over $40 in the jean category. These sold for $44.90. After cost of goods, fees, and shipping and handling on eBay, I made $22.75. And now we'll move on to Poshmark sales. So I'm going to start with an item that I wouldn't pick up again. I mentioned in my last video, I picked up some Zara jeans and I said, not all Zara is created equal. This is an item I would not buy again. It took 397 days to sell. It was a cute skirt. It was Zara, and it was a metallic floral. It was a faux leather, and it had this ruffle detail on it. I bought it retail arbitrage from Marshall's when we were in Louisiana. I believe it was the yellow tag sale, but I could be wrong. It sold for $33. My cost of goods were $3 on it, and after Poshmark fees of $6.60 and a shipping discount of $1.50, I made $21.90. Now that's a good profit, but it didn't have very many likes, and luckily somebody bought it when I sent out an offer. Thank you, Posher VA. So yeah, I wouldn't pick it up again. All right, let's move on to a good sale. This was actually a vintage Christian Dior blazer. I picked this up on my road trip up the East Coast when I was in Richmond, Virginia. I was so excited to find this in a thrift store. I saw the CD logo buttons and knew exactly what it was, and I opened the blazer, and sure enough, it was Christian Dior. So being vintage, and this jacket actually may have been a boy's jacket, but I knew I could still list it as a woman's jacket because in boys' blazers versus men's blazers, the shoulders are not as wide as a men's blazer would be. And I always include measurements in the listing, so I had no doubt I would be able to sell it in the women's section, and I did. It sold for $100. I only paid $5.79 for it at the thrift store. And of course, Poshmark took 20 because they take 20%, so I made $74.21 on this vintage Christian Dior blazer. And a brand I talked about in my bread and butter video is Lulu's, and I do really well with Lulu's, except for the skater style dresses, like I mentioned in that video. This was a little black dress that had balloon puff sleeves, really cute, and it sold on Poshmark for $44. My cost of goods were $5.46 from a thrift store, and after fees and a shipping discount, I made $28.24. So Lulu's is a brand that I recommend for bread and butter. This is a precious Pendleton skirt that actually my friend Bob from Bob Buys found when she was visiting me in Mississippi. She was on a road trip and she stopped by to thrift with me for a little bit on her way back to Virginia, and she found this Pendleton skirt and gave it to me, and I loved the colors on it. Pink and green, super cute. It did sell for $65. I paid $4.23 at the thrift store, and Poshmark took $13, so I made $47.77. I've actually never sold Pendleton skirts before, so I was excited to see that it did really well. All right, let's get into some not so great sales. Speaking of Bob from Bob Buys, my girl loves to sell some ties. I don't think I'll be picking up ties anymore. I mean, unless I find an Hermes tie, I pretty much am going to pass on ties. I'm not even going to go over to that section, but let's talk about a tie sale. So this was a Christian Dior vintage tie, probably from the late 70s, early 80s, based on the colorway. It was silk. I thought, surely it has a Dior spell out on it, and it's silk, and it's sort of like a classic striped tie. But that sucker sat for 796 days. And it finally sold for $20. I only paid $3 for it at the thrift store. And then after Poshmark fees of $4, I made a cool $13. Would I buy this tie again? Heck no, I would not buy this tie again. Another item that I would not pick up again, I picked this up when I first started reselling. Back then at our thrift stores on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, we used to have one tag a week that was marked down to 99 cents, and I would often get items that I normally maybe wouldn't pick up. I was still experimenting at that point and learning about brands, so I would try things here and there, and I thought this skirt was super cute. So I got it for 99 cents, but still, it only sold for $25, and if you take out the 99 cents that I paid for it and $5 from Poshmark fees, I made $19.01, which is a good profit. I'm glad. I'm happy it's gone, but I would not pick it up again. And also, it was J. Crew Factory. I never pick up Factory. And another item that I would not pick up. You guys know that I've had a bad experience with Jomar. If you love Jomar and you're a fan of Jomar, that's awesome. That just hasn't been my experience. I bought 3 boxes from them, and this was in a spring and summer starter box. Definitely would not recommend that box. I am still negative over $100 on that box. I listed as much as I could from it to try to recoup some of my money. One of the items was this item, and you'll see one later in the video. This was a Victoria's Secret crocheted cover-up. Now, I don't pick up Victoria's Secret only because it normally, unless you get something special, isn't going to sell for over $40. And my business model is to find items that are going to sell for me for $40 and up. This sold for $20. My cost of goods on that Jomar box, $10.60 an item. $4 in Poshmark fees. I made $5.40. I'm thankful it's going back towards the cost of that box. I'm just praying I recoup my money from it, but we'll see because I'm still not even close. All right, back to some positive stuff. So I found these jeans. I never heard of this brand before, but thought I would try it. It's good to experiment sometimes. Comps were all over the place, but it's called 12 by On 12th. This was the Taylor Flare, and they sold for $65. They did sit for a little bit, but I only paid $3.62 for them at the thrift store, and they were a really cute style. The fees were $13 on these, so I made $48.38. All right, another item that I would not pick up again is this Bowden skirt. Now, you guys know, if you watch my videos before, that I love Bowden. I love to pick up the Bowden dresses. I just got a huge haul from a thrift store, and I have been selling those dresses recently. Bowden skirts are not the same as Bowden dresses. This was a new with tags Bowden skirt that I got from ThredUp. I got this at the beginning of quarantine. Back when we first all went into lockdown, I did some sourcing on ThredUp. So I paid more than I would pay in the thrift store. And I didn't lose any money, but I didn't make very much on this. So I sold this for $25. It was listed for 636 days. My cost of goods, don't throw up, but were $16.47. $5 in fees for Poshmark, so I made $3.53 on this skirt. So yeah, I wouldn't pick up this skirt again. I mean, unless I got it for real cheap, or maybe at the bins, but otherwise, yeah, probably wouldn't pick it up. All right, I told y'all in one of my recent haul videos, I picked up 2 pairs of Eileen Fisher plus size. I have not had the greatest luck with Eileen Fisher and J. Jill, like sort of more mature brands. But I said, if these 2 pairs of pants don't sell, then I'm done with Eileen Fisher. I'm going to eat my words because both pairs have sold. This first pair sold in January, my second pair sold in February, so you will see those on next month's video. But these sold for $52. They were a wide leg, pinstripe pant, cropped length. I paid $7.92 for them at a thrift store in New Orleans. After fees and a shipping discount, I made $32.18 on these Eileen Fisher pants, so maybe I will consider picking up Eileen Fisher in the future. Okay, you guys know that this would not be a what sold video if Victoria did not have a Modcloth piece in here. So this was a Modcloth sweater. It had this cool design in the knit, which was some cat eye glasses with the like chain, and it was super cute. I did pay up for this liquidation. I paid $12 for it. So it was new, but it did not have tags. After Poshmark fees, I made $27.20, and I just love Modcloth. Can't say it enough. Okay, I picked up this piece on my road trip, and I have always wanted to try out the J. Crew schoolboy blazer, but I've never found one before, and I found it in this tomato orange color, and it was wool, very cute. It had the gold buttons on it with the crest, very cute style, and it sold for $52. I paid $7.88 at a thrift store for it, and after fees and a shipping discount, I made $32.22. So I would definitely pick up the J. Crew schoolboy blazer again. This is a fun vintage piece. I found this when I was thrifting with my girls Bob from Bob Buys and Jessie from Gorgeous when they came down this past summer. It was an Adrianna Papel silk 2-piece skirt and top set. It had tigers and like a jungle theme with big flowers and leaves all over it. It was really cool, and then had a knit bottom and cuffs on the sleeves. Really cool. So it sold for $43, and I had paid $5.23 for it at the thrift store. After Poshmark fees of $8.60, I made $29.17. All right, here's another one of those dang blasted ties that I will not be buying. I sold 2 ties in the month of January. This one was also vintage. It was a 70s floral tie. I loved the pattern on it. I thought it was really cool. And apparently nobody else really liked it because it also sat for over 700 days. So I would not pick it up again. It sold for $20 finally. I paid $3 for it at the thrift store, and after $4 went to Poshmark and $1.50 for a shipping discount, I made $11.50. So definitely not something that I think that I would list again, although I do know they're super easy to photograph. And I have 2 more ties to list, to be honest with you, that are in my death pile, but once those are listed, I don't think I'm going to be buying any more ties. All right. More Modcloth. This was a Modcloth sub-brand called Liza Luxe. It was a beautiful satin dress that had this floral print on it. The flowers were photorealistic, so it was really neat and interesting, very different. Let me show you a picture of it. Very cool. So photorealistic flowers, very pretty dress. It did take a while to sell, but with my Modcloth pieces, I generally pay up if I'm buying on liquidation, so I don't mind if they sit for a little bit. It sold for $80. I had paid $20 for it from the liquidation company, and after Poshmark fees and a shipping discount, I made $42.50 on this dress, and I would for sure pick up Modcloth again. Eliza J is one of those brands that I like to pick up. This was a very sparkly dress. It had very light striping on it in the metallic thread. It was really pretty, really sparkly, would make a great holiday or New Year's dress. It sold for $55, and I had purchased it for $5.83 at a thrift store in New Orleans. And after Poshmark fees, I made $38.17. So Eliza J is one of those brands that I generally always pick up. All right, this is a sale. I'm happy with the sale, but I don't know if I'd pick up the item again. So I picked this up at the beginning of my reselling journey. It's a brand called 67, which is like a UK brand. They were a really cool metallic leather. They were new with tags. They had this really cool elastic piece. They were like an Oxford. And I just thought they were really cool. And they sat for so long. I mean, this is one of the items I purchased at the very beginning of me reselling. So this is almost 3 years old. They did sell for $52 and I had only paid $5.19 for them. After Poshmark fees and a shipping discount, I made $34.91. So I'm happy with the sale. I'm happy that finally somebody wanted them, but they sat so long that I would really, really have to love the style to pick them up again. All right, another sad Jomar sale. This is even sadder than the Victoria's Secret Coverup. So this is a Forever 21 wrap front romper, which was most of the box was Forever 21. But again, I tried to list as much as I could to try to make my money back. This sold for $16. My cost of goods were $10.60. Just beyond me. Never pay that for Forever 21. It doesn't even retail for much higher than that. So I was happy to sell it for $16, but if you deduct the cost of goods, fees from Poshmark, and a shipping discount, I made 70 cents, y'all. A whole 70 cents. But again, at least it goes back to my overall cost of that box, which I'm just praying I can recoup. All right, so next good sale over $40 was the Citizen of Humanity jean. It was the Avedon. Some Citizen of Humanity, the older stuff, I don't pick up, but the newer stuff, I definitely do if they're in a cool style because I can still get 40 and above for them. And I sold some for $85, $95. So just look up the style when you find it in the thrift store if you find the new tag and see if it's worth picking up. So these sold for 40. I paid $7 at the thrift store. Fees on Poshmark were $8 and I made $25. This was a cool piece. I actually got this in a mystery box that I ordered from an Instagram reseller. I don't generally buy mystery boxes from resellers, but these were from Voyages of Herb, and I really like Kristen's aesthetic and what she picks up to resell, so I felt like it was a sure bet, and sure enough, that box has made me so much money. This is a St. John Couture Santana knit blazer. It was vintage. Super cool. It had cuff sleeves and these cool black gemstone buttons that went down the front. It sold for $76. My cost of goods on that mystery box was $9.90. And after Poshmark fees, I made $50.90 on this blazer. And if Kristen ever has mystery boxes again, I'm totally going to get another one. All right, I actually own this Eliza J in 2 different colors. This was an emerald green. The pink one still has not sold, so it's still for sale if you're interested. Again, I love to pick up Eliza J, and it was a beautiful color with a pretty sash belt. It sold for $55 after cost of goods of $7.88 and $11 in fees from Poshmark. I made $36.12. Cut from the cloth, just like Citizen of Humanity, I only pick up the new tag. This was also a plus size 14. Do we really think plus size is 14? No, but on Poshmark, it's listed in the plus size. So these were the Stella Kick Flare in a light wash. I thought they were cool style. They sold for $55. My cost of goods were $5.23 from the thrift store, and after Poshmark fees, I made $38.77. So I'm still picking up cut from the cloth new tag. So I wanted to share with you guys this bundle for the reason that sometimes bundles are really great because you can get rid of inventory that's been sitting for a long time. So in this bundle, there was a Modcloth sub-brand collective, super cute top, but I have several of these and they have been sitting. This one had sat for 714 days. So probably would not pick it up again, but it was so cute, so I did get it. Then there was this 1940s spice set. This actually belonged to me. They were ceramic shakers. And of course they had, some of the paint was sort of flaking off, but you'll have that for 1940s ceramic sometimes. This actually sat for 904 days. So I had them listed on Etsy before I became a full-time reseller. And yeah, they sat for so long. And it was a shame because they were super cute. And as you can see, they're not all the same size. because things weren't necessarily made by machines back in the day. So they kind of alternated, but this person bought this in the bundle. And then this vintage plush size top, which actually was only listed 18 days. It was a newer pickup for me from a thrift store. It was super cute. And this picture was also picked up. It was listed for 58 days, and it was a Japanese made mid-century carafe. So I wanted to mention this because I had 2 items that were listed for over 700 days, and then 2 items that sold fairly quickly. The whole bundle sold for $110. My fees were $22 and my cost of goods were $32.41. So I made $55.59 on this bundle, and I got rid of some inventory that has been just sitting for so long. All right, we are approaching the end now, people. So now I want to talk about 2 sales that sold in less than 24 hours. One I was surprised about, one I wasn't. Both were athletic items. The first one was this Nike crossback sports bra. I think I got this in my ThredUp 100 pound box, but I hadn't listed it for a year or something. But I did finally list it. It sold within 24 hours for $20. And after deducting the cost of goods on that box and Poshmark fees, I made $10.20. Not something I normally would pick up in a thrift store, but happy with a super fast sale and $10 and change in my pocket. The one that wasn't really that much of a surprise was this Lululemon tank. My friend Alicia at Murray Life actually found this when we were thrifting together in New Orleans, and she gave it to me. It was just a basic tank, but it sold within 24 hours of listing for $27. After my cost of goods and Poshmark fees, I made $16.10. And again, for a 24-hour flip, I am very happy with that sale. A brand I don't find a ton of, so I don't know that I'll have the option to pick up again, but I thought these were really cute, and I know that some Kelsey Dagger items can resell for a nice price. These sold for $50, so I was really happy with that. They definitely were very interesting. They had woodblock heels and this fur, and then a ankle wrap. They sold for $50. I paid $5.80 at a thrift store. And after Poshmark fees of $10, I made $34.20. I was super, super excited to find these leggings when I was on my road trip up the East Coast. I bought these in Baltimore, and they are Wolford. I have never, ever, ever seen Wolford in thrift stores down south. So to find these new with tags, I was super stoked. They sold within 24 hours for $100, and I paid $7.88 for them at the thrift store. After $20 in Poshmark fees and $1.50 shipping discount, I made $70.62. So I 100% would buy Wolford again if I found it. An item I probably wouldn't pick up, but sometimes the bins are fun to experiment. These were some Moto jeans. They were men's, and my friend Alicia at the time that I got these was doing really well selling men's Moto jeans. They only cost me $2.95 because it's pay by the pound at the Goodwill outlet, and somebody bought them for $20. So after Poshmark fees of $4, I made $13.05. I don't know that I would pick them up again, but it was fun to experiment, and the bins are really good for that. So I don't mind going out on a limb and trying a brand or a style that I normally do not get at the thrift store. A tried and true for me is Madewell. I talked about Madewell in my bread and butter video, and Madewell jeans are still doing great for me. These are the stovepipe jeans, and they're actually made with Tencel. Tencel is a good keyword to use when you're listing if your item has Tencel in it, because some people specifically look for this fabric because it is super soft and super stretchy. So these Madewell jeans sold for $60. I paid $5.79. At the thrift store, they sold within a week, and after Poshmark took $12 in fees, I made $42.21 on these Madewell jeans. A brand I'm not picking up so much anymore is Cabby. Now, Cabby does have a following, and if it's a really cool style, I might still pick up Cabby, but I'm really going to probably stay away from most of the pants, although I still made a nice profit on these. They were listed for 470 days, which is crazy. I only paid $3.37 for them at the thrift store, and after $8 in Poshmark fees, I made $28.63. So still happy about the sale, but not picking up cabbie as much as I used to. 2 more sales, you guys. Okay, so I wanted to mention this vintage top because my girl Mary from the Block Vintage bought it from me. If you guys don't know who she is, you need to go follow her on TikTok. She's not active really very much on YouTube or Instagram right now, but she is on TikTok. She has an awesome vintage store in Raleigh, North Carolina. But she bought this vintage Sublime tie-dyed t-shirt from me. It actually wasn't technically vintage because it's 2006, but it's almost vintage. But I was excited to have a sale from her, and I got to send her some Super Geek stuff in her package. So this sold for $32. I paid $1.64 at the bins. Actually, when I went shopping with my girl Brittany from Shop Foxborough, when she came to Mississippi to visit, Poshmark took $6.40, and I gave a $1.50 shipping discount. So I made $22.46, and I would sell this shirt to Mary all day, every day. All right, last sale I also picked up at that same bins trip with Brittany from Shop Foxborough in Jackson, Mississippi when she came to visit, and they were bed stew. I found these in a bin that everybody had been through probably 100 times before I even got there, but I think they kept passing them up because bed stew are known to have distressing on their boots, so they kind of look ragged, even when you buy them brand new. But these were from the Cobbler series, which is, they're all handcrafted, and they use vegetable dye to dye the leather. Very cool, super soft leather, just really cool overall boots. So I paid $1.97 since they were from the bins. My customer bought them for $150, and after $30 in Poshmark fees, I made $118.03 on these bed stew boots. So if you don't know about bed stew, be looking for them. If you find some super distressed boots, check them out because they might be worth some money. All right, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you got some good information out of it. You get to see what is selling good and not so good for me, what is taking a super long time to sell or selling for a lower price point, and those items that are selling for quick money or for a high average sell price. Don't forget on your way out to give me a subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and hit that thumbs up button so that more people will be able to see my YouTube content. I really appreciate all of you, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, y'all.